On the phone with us now for some military insight is retired Lieutenant Colonel Scott Mann. He spent more than 2 decades with the U.S. Army, 18 of those with Special Ops. Thanks so much for joining us over the phone. From a military standpoint, how significant is this victory in Ramadi?
Well, I think, it's definitely good news. When you think about it just from a troop morale perspective, I think the Iraqi forces definitely needed a win. And then also, I think just from a geostrategic perspective, just where Ramadi lies and its strategic significance geographically is a big deal as well. But I also, just being a guy that's worked around insurgencies my whole life, I also urge a little bit of caution here that we don't celebrate too early. And we recognize that a lot of the hard lifting in Ramadi is still in front of us.
You may recall earlier this year, Defense Secretary Ashton Carter saying that the Iraqi troops did not have the will to fight. Based on such a significant victory here, is it fair to say that that characterization may be a thing of the past?
No, not at all. Listen, I think what does bode well here is that there is evidence that the United States has started to do a little bit more in how it advises these troops. But I still think it's far too early to characterize the Iraqi army as proficient or ready to fight. These guys have had a rough go of it. Now, here's the measure that I think we all ought to be watching. Will the Iraqi forces actually go into these neighborhoods and make meaningful connections with the marginalized Sunnis where ISIS has manipulated them? If they don't, even securing Ramadi and rolling through it, you can bet ISIS is going to backfill right in behind them and start it all over again.
What kind of lessons can the coalition learn as it fights ISIS in Syria?
Well, one of them is I talk about in my book, Game Changers, which is everything is about going local. ISIS, we have to out-ISIS ISIS. What they do is they practice social control at a local level. They go into areas like Ramadi, and they exploit these marginalized Sunni populations that are at odds with the Shia-dominated government. And so what we have to do is more than just coalition airstrikes. We've got to put Green Berets and other special ops advisors in with Iraqi special ops and work with the Sunnis, work with the Kurds, work with the Yazidis who are out in these areas where ISIS has set up shop and push them out from the inside out. And then we have to walk these marginalized people back to the Iraqi government, bottom up and top down. That's how we win this thing.
So you mentioned ISIS's ability to exploit this minority Sunni population as well as other minorities. What can we expect in terms of retaliation then from ISIS? Do you think it will be a military retaliation?
Oh, here's what they're going to do. I guarantee it. And you can watch this. They don't practice terrorism. ISIS practices horrorism. They go in and they visit unspeakable violence on anyone who is complicit or seems to be complicit with Iraqi or coalition forces. So they're going to come back into Ramadi. They're going to look for the Sunnis that actually stood up against them, and there's going to be retribution to pay for that. So that's how they're going to go, and they're going to try to reestablish social control at a local level. That's why it's so important that the Iraqi military connect with these Sunnis at a neighborhood level.
All right, retired Lieutenant Colonel Scott Mann, thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.